hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Darren, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you too.
And this is Rebecca and Darren of iZog Adventure, digital nomads and world travelers. Thank you for joining us today on the House Sit Match video chat. Really, really pleased to be with you.
Thank you very much for having us. It's a pleasure to be here. We're just enjoying being cozy in our van at the moment. So, yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. So now you travel around the UK in your van and you do a bit of house sitting as well, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
So we travel a bit in the van. We house sit. We've had a few regular house sits. So we go up to, one of them's in York. We go up to York to see the same people every time, which is nice. Bit of familiarity.
Yeah, it's really good. And then during the summer, we drove out to as far as Slovenia and back around Europe for 2 months, out into Europe, and that was fantastic. Yeah.
Well, that sounds like quite an adventure. I mean, how did you get into this lifestyle? Perhaps you could tell us a little bit about yourselves and how you started house sitting.
Do you want to go first?
Okay, so I'm not new to house sitting. When I was in my late teens, early 20s, a friend of mine actually set up a little community within our local area with half a dozen house sit clients, and I would quite regularly go and look after their pets and stay in their houses. So for me, as an adult now looking back, it seems quite natural. And so when the opportunity to house sit arose, we were living with my parents, and I found out that there are websites for this sort of thing now. And living with my parents, we were looking for an opportunity to
escape.
to have some of our own space and to travel around a little bit. So that's where we started out with that.
Yeah. And at first we didn't have the van at first. We've only had the van this year. At first we just used to drive out in the car. And it was a nice way to kind of get to see somewhere else. We started off just doing it in the UK. In fact, I think we've only done house sits in the UK at the moment.
We've only done house sits in the UK, but we're interested. We have looked at house sits further afield, particularly Canada, somewhere on our list.
Yes, really want to explore Canada a bit more at some point. But we really enjoy house sitting because at the moment we don't have pets ourselves, so we really enjoy looking after other pets. I've always grown up with pets, and for me it was a great way to kind of be around other people's pets and animals and take care of them and then be able to give them back at the end. We love them dearly.
It's a long-term commitment. A dog or a cat, it's a very big commitment, and I think particularly now, because we like to be flexible, because we do travel a lot, we're out in the van a lot. It's nice. We still miss that interaction, so it's nice to have to spend time with someone's pets, and but equally to be able to do our own thing in between and have that complete freedom.
We find that a lot of house sitting assignments are actually all about the pets, really. So it's great that you love pets and enjoy their company. I mean, it really does make a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah. I just love looking after my favourite's to look after dogs. That's what I always grew up with, and I love going out walking, and funnily enough the dogs love it when I go out for walks for a few hours at a time. They really enjoy that. So kind of having a dog with you when you're going out walking it just feels more comfortable, I think, going out with a dog rather than just randomly wandering in a field by yourself.
It's nice. It's companionship, company.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I bet you're popular. A few hours at a time, most dogs would absolutely adore that. That's fantastic.
We have looked after a lot of country dogs.
Yes.
Dogs that are used to fields out the back of the house, and they come when called, but they like to go off over the fields chasing rabbits.
Yes.
So they do need a lot of exercise.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So with your travels, it sounds like you work as you go. So you're digital nomads. How long have you been digital nomads?
Well, I've been freelance, location independent for about 7 years. And I've travelled quite a lot with that. I'm an editor, an author coach. That's what I do. And so as long as I have a Zoom connection like this, I can speak with my clients. As long as I have Wi-Fi, I can work on their documents. So it's ideal for me. It's worked out very well. In terms of things like time zone, it's for submitting documents, it doesn't really matter. As long as I can submit it and they can then get it for their first thing in the morning, it doesn't really matter where I am in the world.
So that's fantastic. So Wi-Fi connection is pretty essential, although I suppose if you've got your van, you can pretty much take that with you.
Yes.
Yeah. So we've got it in the van, and we normally use 4G on our phones as well. So we have a European-wide, actually I think mine's worldwide.
So is mine.
Mine's worldwide now. And we just connect to our 4G most of the time, because we find that that's more reliable than public Wi-Fi a lot of the time. So, and
it really is just becoming easier and easier. So when I first started out, I would have to buy, particularly if I left Europe, I'd have to buy a SIM card for that country, and I'd have to buy data for that country, and be very careful how much of it I use, and only go online for a few minutes at a time. But these days, with a global data, a worldwide data plan, it really doesn't matter. We can use our phones almost as if we're in the UK.
That's remarkable, isn't it? I mean, how the world has changed. Technology has just been such an enabler.
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic.
It really
I think,
has.
and that's kind of why I've decided to grasp it. So my background is HR and payroll, and then I kind of moved into project management and process improvement. And then I think it was about 18 months ago, I was laid off from a role, and I kind of thought, right, I want to do something different now. I had a little bit of a bug from doing the house sits that we'd done in the UK, and I wanted to travel more myself as well with Rebecca, obviously.
I don't know, sometimes I have a backpack and I'll go off on my own and come back later.
And I just wanted to go out and explore a bit more, and I saw, I was looking for a career where I could be location independent as well. And so what I do is I help people with projects, and as long as I can be contactable, as Rebecca's mentioned, via Skype or via Zoom or at the end of a phone, and you're kind of worldwide and you can work on your own time frame. So as long as you're putting in the time and you're meeting clients' deadlines, then I've been really lucky to find clients that don't mind where I am in the world, as long as I'm meeting their deadlines and providing them with the work that they're asking me to produce. And I think that's what's really important, and it just means that we're not having that rush, because I worked and lived in London for 14 years, and it was kind of getting to the end of that, being there in London for 14 years, I kind of just thought, I don't want to travel into London on the tube anymore. I'd rather go and sit in a field and watch the clouds for a couple of hours whilst being able to do my work.
When you can be just as productive regardless. You don't have to be a bum on a seat in an office. You can work from anywhere. You can sit on the beach if you've got the Wi-Fi. Although the sun tends to get into your keyboard if you're on the beach. it's not all as glamorous as it looks on Instagram. It really isn't. Well, problems.
So you have to create a special sort of soundproof keyboard to protect your career.
When someone creates that, we'll have one.
Do it. Create it.
So it sounds like you've created ways of earning a living and being independent, regardless of traditional ties to an office or an organizational structure, which is really very liberating, isn't it?
Very much so, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And your careers, you've been able to take those skills you've earned, as you said, 14 years in London, working in the big smoke for corporations, big and small and so on. You've transferred your skills to an independent lifestyle, which actually affords you much more freedom.
Yeah, so I've always been an editor. I was in-house before I went freelance. So this has been my career for nearly 20 years. So before striking out on my own, I worked with publishers in offices, in-house. So it's a skill set that lent itself very well. I could move quite naturally from the office to anywhere.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. And then in terms of earning a living, do you find you're able to earn as much as you would if you were in one place working in a traditional job structure?
So I'd say for myself, I kind of took a bit of a pay cut from the overall figure that I was on beforehand. But because I wasn't paying to live in London, I wasn't paying to travel in London, insurance outside of London on your property and on your car and on the van, that side of things, it's a lot cheaper outside of London. So taking all that into consideration, it was a lot easier, I think, to be able to take that pay cut in order to be freer to move around, to travel. And a lot of people think we're just on holiday 100% of the time. What they don't see is, as during the summer, we were sat in this van that we're in at the moment in 40-degree heat trying to work on some client work. What they saw was the hour or two that we took off at lunchtime to go and sit in the lake, which was very nice. But after you'd been spending a few hours in the morning in 40-degree heat inside a van, it was, it's, people don't see the hard work that goes on behind the scenes sometimes. But that's why we love being location independent, really, is because
you have that choice, don't you?
It's about having the choice to do those things.
And I think a lot of it's also about mindset, that we're not comparing corporate rates with the type of income that we need to maintain the lifestyle that we have. So Darren touched on that. We worked out that for the 2 months travel that we did, our additional expenses versus staying at home, by the time we take into account the food that we would have eaten anyway and the other fixed costs, it was something like £300 extra per month. And that's nothing. You can't go away for a weekend for that price to an Airbnb, for example.
Absolutely. And you're not paying to commute from one end of London to the other either, are you? So
no,
absolutely. So those costs are they're really minimal. So it becomes more about sort of quality of life and about earning what we need rather than what we think we might need or what makes us feel like we're successful because we're earning that particular amount of money. So it's good.
Well, that's fabulous. It's given you choices, which I think is really a fabulous opportunity in life.
Absolutely. Yes.
Definitely. Wouldn't go back now.
No. No.
We met just last week at a house sitting conference, the first ever in the history of house sitting, I suppose. And
no.
It's been a busy week.
In Swindon of all places, of course. But and so we talked about the idea of you traveling further afield. I mean, is there anywhere in particular, you mentioned Canada, is there anywhere else maybe in Europe or further that you'd be interested in house sitting, maybe through HouseSit Match?
Well, funnily enough, while we were waiting to connect for this call, we were browsing the listings. And we were looking at potentially a Christmas sit.
Yes.
So somewhere in the warmer part of Southern Europe in Spain, you've got a couple of very lovely looking, very inviting looking listings over there.
Yes.
We're thinking perhaps we could take the van, it's called Avalon, we could take Avalon over to Europe and drive down, do the house sit for the Christmas week and then make our way back to the UK. So anywhere really. We're Canada's a dream destination for us.
It is. We briefly went to Canada for a couple of weeks last year, just with some friends on a bit of a road trip, but we definitely want to explore more of Europe. I feel like we've only just touched the surface of Europe, having spent 2 months and driving all the way to Slovenia and back in the summer.
And the year before that we did a month. So every year we're extending it a little bit. I think there was talk when we came back of going up for 3 months next time. So.
Full time.
We have some new homeowners coming on board from Eastern Europe actually in the coming weeks. So look out for those in Poland, Warsaw. So I'll mention them to you actually next time we speak. But look out for the listings and sign up for the email alerts. We have an immediate notification for countries you're interested in.
Yes, we will do.
Yes, we're definitely looking forward to doing more house sits throughout Europe. Definitely.
Fantastic. And
Really
of course, you write about your experiences in the iZog Adventure blog.
Yes.
That's Darren's.
Really enjoyable. I love reading it.
Yes. I've got 101 more blog posts that I need to write on there from our experiences of where we've been traveling. But I like sharing those experiences and kind of inspiring other people to go out and explore the world around, because it can seem very daunting and quite scary to go outside of your comfort zone. And myself, last year we drove back from Italy we were driving a brand new motorhome back from Italy back to the UK, and just the day before, I'd never driven in Europe before, and I was really kind of excited but also really nervous, and I was tempted to just cancel it and stay at home, but I kind of bit the bullet, is that the right phrase? Bit the bullet, and kind of flew over there, and we spent a month driving back through Europe in a brand new motorhome. And after doing that, I just can't get enough of traveling right now.
It's a bug, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is a bug.
It is.
And you write a lot about that. You write about his experiences as someone who is fairly new to this type of travel.
Yeah.
And those anxieties that perhaps people don't often talk about.
Yeah.
So it's definitely one to spend some time with if you're for people considering taking the leap either into this lifestyle or into travel in a motorhome or house sitting. In fact, you did a video about a house sit, didn't you?
Yes, there is on our YouTube channel, iZog Adventure. There is a video about house sitting, and also our travels that you can follow around, where we go in our van and join in. And if you've got any questions about traveling to any particular destination or considering it, then do drop us a message. We're always happy to help fellow travelers on that side of things.
Well, that's wonderful. So do you have any final top tips for house sitters? Anyone sort of considering doing this? Maybe they've, touched the water a little bit, but looking forward to their next big dive. Do you have any suggestions for ways to start?
Just do it. Just book something. Make sure, I would say, make sure that they are animals that you're very familiar with, because as you say, it's very much about the animals and the pets when you're house sitting. Yep. So make sure that you're taking on something that you feel confident with, and just then just do it. Get in touch with the homeowner, have a chat first, maybe even talk by Skype, so you have that or Zoom, so you have that connection.
My tips would be to find somewhere local, so you're familiar maybe with the area. Don't make your first house sit halfway around the world for 7 months. You might be a little bit out of your depth, or if it's not quite what you're looking for, then you might be a little bit nervous. I mean, those house sits are fantastic, but I'd say
house sit maybe. House sit number 2.
House sit number 2, maybe halfway around the world. But for your first house sit, so you're aware of how it works, and so you know what you can expect, then do somewhere local. Do it for a few days for the first one maybe, and just agree to or try and speak to the homeowner via Skype or video conference, so you can kind of build that rapport with them before you go there, and maybe give them a call, chat to them on the phone, that side of things. I think
we always offer for the homeowner to have a phone call with us, because it gives them an opportunity to get to know us, to ask any questions they have. They get a sense of who we are and what we're like as well. And I think it's an opportunity again to make it clear that you're sincere, that you're trustworthy, and that you're interested in their house and their pets. That it's not simply a vehicle for you to do some sightseeing in a nice location, which is a lovely bonus, but it shouldn't be the main reason.
It is a collaboration, isn't it? It has to be a balancing act so that you both benefit.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yes, sorry. I keep kicking the edge of our table. That's why we're wobbling. It's not windy here.
Well, look, before we leave you, I think we need a little tour of Avalon. Could you show us your van?
Yes, Darren will give you a guided tour.
So we're currently sat at the table. I'll try
And this
hold.
is a van that you've kitted out?
Yeah, it's not. It's one that we worked with a company to do the kitting out, but we kind of chose the colours and the layout and the materials and that side of things. But
so you can see, I don't know if you can see, but over on the kitchen area over there, you just see arms really.
Yes. So over here you've got the oven and the drawers and our sink.
No, I was going to tell them. So we went to the reclamation centre near us. So a lot of the more quirky elements of the van were things that we discovered ourselves. So we went and found the vintage Pepsi Cola crates, I don't know if you can see here, but the ceramic knobs and things. So
there you go.
So although this was built for us by someone we know quite well, a company called Off Grid Campers, built Avalon for us, it was very much to our specifications and very much with a lot of our personality in here as well.
Yeah. And we've also been in mind with being able to work remotely as well. So we've got solar power on the roof.
Yeah.
So we can be totally off grid. We don't have to be on hookup. And we've got
USB ports
USB
absolutely
ports
everywhere. You can't stretch your arm out without touching a USB port. It's fantastic.
But yeah, we absolutely love spending time in Avalon, our van.
Avalon.
Avalon.
That's wonderful. That's really wonderful. Listen, thank you so much for taking time today. It's been really, really interesting to meet you and Avalon, the van.
Thank you for having us. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, lovely to chat to you again.
Okay, great. We'll speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.